Raptors are off to their second-best start in franchise history. Well, second only to last season. They welcomed the Utah Jazz to town, a team that's fighting to return to the playoff picture in the Western Conference. We're going to be with you until tip-off right here on NBA TV. Hey everybody, welcome into our NBA TV studios. This is Game Time. I'm Kristen Ledlow, alongside a couple of Hall of Famers. McHale, Isiah Thomas. First and foremost, Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
2019.
Absolutely.
Ringing it in. And we've got a 5-game Tuesday night in the NBA, so why not start there? Let's start, though, with the matchup we have on our air. Jazz, Raptors. Utah Jazz now snapped a 5-game losing streak on the road on December 21st in Portland. They have an opportunity to stay on track here. Their weekend holds the Cavs, the Pistons, then, of course, the Bucks. I have to ask, though, with the talent on this roster, why has this team struggled with inconsistency this season?
They haven't caught their rhythm at all, and they're not as good defensively as they were last year. I thought last year they were really tight defensively. They got after it. They created a lot of turnovers and ran off it. That next playmaker, along with Mitchell, when I watch them, they're just not the same, and it's really odd. You know, they added Korver as for shooting and stuff, but they just have not caught rhythm. There's a bunch of teams this year that are surprised me that they haven't caught a rhythm yet. Now, last year I know Utah played much better the second half of the year. They're banking on that, but you know they're below 500 right now, and that's almost 40 games, almost halfway through the season, and so I'm concerned about them because. Man, there's a lot of those teams never do find that rhythm, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year you look at them and say, what happened to them? They're to me are one of the what happened to them teams. I expected them to have a big jump this year.
With the parity in the Western Conference, do you think that there still is an opportunity to sit inside that playoff picture?
Oh, there's definitely an opportunity. I mean, they're only maybe 2 or 3 games out right now, and when you look at the West, everybody is so bunched up, and you know, who knows where teams are going to be, but I agree with Kevin. They just haven't caught fire yet, and I wonder if when you look at Utah, so much of their offensive emphasis is predicated on Mitchell really creating for each other. I mean, creating for everybody and then scoring for himself. I'm just not sure how much he's added to his game to be able to facilitate and carry that load that we saw him carry during the playoffs. Can he carry that now throughout the whole season?
That was a flawless transition. Did you know that was what I was going to ask you about next?
No, I didn't.
Look at that. Well, last season, Donovan Mitchell was in the Rookie of the Year race, if we can call it a race, according to Ben Simmons. But this season, his field goal percentage has consistently decreased month to month. So, Coach, is this a product of a shooting slump, or have teams figured out how to defend him?
Teams figured out how to defend you. I've often said, as a young player in this league, you kind of take you got your head up on everybody. They're not sure how to play. They're not sure what you do. And if you have some skill, you can kind of get away with some. Maybe you have a couple of flaws that they don't see. After a year of watching you, they're saying, hey, look, I tell you what, when he goes left, he takes 2 dribble and pulls up. Well, all of a sudden on that second dribble, they're pushing up into you. Yeah. Or hey, when he goes right, he's going to, you have tendencies. And it's incumbent on a young player to keep on improving your game. And I think Donovan right now, the league's kind of caught up with him. So the Spider-Man is going to have to add a couple things to his game. Yeah. And everybody has to. I know I did. When guys started playing me differently, and I was like, dang, that was my go-to move. Yeah. I'm like, now they're waiting on my go-to move. And so I just think that he's #1 on the scouting report. Every team, when they talk about Utah, playing Utah, the coach starts off with, okay, this is what we're going to do to stop Donovan Mitchell. And that's a whole different thing, especially when you're a young player in this league. And so I think he will improve. I just think the league's caught up with him right now, and he's struggling.
Yeah, I agree with that. When your name is the first name on the blackboard, and the whole defense is designed to stop you from doing what you do, you would have had to develop something over the summer to counteract that. So I don't know how much thinking ahead he really did in terms of what the league was going to do to prepare for him, but clearly he hasn't found that little hole that he can kind of squeeze to get it right back to where he was last year.
Because I remember, so I'm in the playoffs, we're playing Philly my rookie year, and I always had this move, I do a little shake left, and I turn around and take my turnaround jump shot. So I give him this, and I take my little fadeaway. Damn, Bobby Jones was I turned around to shoot the ball, and Bobby Jones was all over that. I was like, so I did it again. I'm like, damn, this guy's kind of caught my move. So after that, I started doing the up and under, going baseline and faking and doing stuff. But up till then, I really had shot over the top of people and didn't worry that much about having to head fake and pump and fake. And so that made me a better player. But I definitely remember going like, damn.
Yeah.
Bobby Jones got my rhythm, man. And Caldwell Jones and Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
And because we played him a 7-game series. And that's
So
the first time. The
you
first
faked
time,
left and came back right, and it was like,
oh, yeah. They were
Right,
they
sitting
had
right
jumped
already.
before I did. They were I was like, dang. And I remember, but that was the first time, again, I had played a 7-game series against really experienced veteran players. Both those guys were all pro defenders. And in my mind, after that about third game, when they started catching me, I was like, ooh, plan B here. I got, and it helped me become better. And that'll happen with him too. You know, he'll look at it, he'll find out and say, boy, when I'm going left on that second dribble, they push up on me. He's gonna have to learn how to finish all the way. Whatever his tendencies are, he'll get better at it.
And I think for Mitchell, the final piece for him, he's got to become a knockdown, deadly shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, once he and he can get that. He's got the mechanics, he's got the form. I mean, all it really takes is just, you know, a little bit more practice. But once he becomes knocked down, where every time he's open, he's knocking that shot down, or when he gets a little space, he's knocking that shot down, then that'll open up the lanes for him to drive the basketball again.
Yeah, because everybody was talking about him having a lot of resemblance to Wade. And I said the big difference is his jumper's way better than Wade's at the same phase of their game and their ability to get in the paint. So I agree with you. I think that his jumper can make big strides and just become just knock down, drive. You know, so you know how it is. When you can really shoot it, you do this, everybody lifts on their toes. Now you're getting clean beats. And in basketball, if you can cleanly beat your guy, you always draw people. You know how it is, Zeke. If you got a guy pushing you on this side, you're not really beating him, he's digging at the ball, it's harder to feel comfortable. You clean beat people, and you can sit in the court, and the court opens up for you. He's got to get some more clean beats by guys with the pump fake and go.
Well, Donovan and the Jazz take on the Toronto Raptors in just about an hour right here on NBA TV. And the Raptors have set atop the league for most of the season. Their next 4 games are all on national television, starting tonight on NBA TV, the NBA on TNT, is then on Thursday night, where the Raptors take on the Spurs in what will be Kawhi Leonard's return to San Antonio. This weekend, then, the team is on NBA TV twice, taking on the Bucks and Pacers. Guys, when you look at the schedule, what's a realistic expectation for this road trip?
I can see winning, you know, 3 out of 4. And the reason why I say that is because their defense travels. And they have the potential to be not only a good defensive team, but they have the potential to be a great defensive team. And there are 4 to 5 minute stretches throughout the game when Leonard, you know, locks people up. Then you got Ibaka shutting people down. And when Lowry is healthy, when he's at his best, or Van Fleet, when those guys decide to really lock you down, and then I always mispronounce his name,
Siakam.
Pascal Siakam. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, you're talking about a freak defender. You know, a lot of times we look at the offensive side of the ball and we say this guy's an offensive freak. Well, Siakam to me is a defensive freak. He's like a Rodman-esque like player. Like defensively, he's everywhere. He's long, he's athletic, he's fast. He can guard 1 through 5. He's got intensity, he's got energy, he's got the motor. I mean, when you put all those guys out there together and you say, hey, we need a stop, or we need 3 minutes of just defensive lockdown basketball, the Toronto Raptors right now are the only team that I'm seeing out there that really has that defensive capability of saying for 3 to 5 minutes, we're just going to shut you down.
Yeah, no, and let's not forget Danny Green. He was part of the Kawhi trade.
Yes.
He's a high IQ defender. He doesn't make mistakes. Like you know, I love guys like that. Whatever your weakness is, they make you do it. Like if you only drive right, believe me, you're not going right on Danny Green. He's standing on your right hand saying, if you beat me, you're going to have to go left. He's really a high IQ guy, and I think he fits in great with all these athletes because they switch a lot of stuff and they're able to lock down. I agree with you. I like their defense, and the other team I'm starting to really believe in defensively is OKC. Those two are the 2 teams that have set, I look at and say, okay, these guys can go out and, like you say, for a 4 or 5 minutes, they have the ability to really turn it up a little bit. And I think all really good teams have the ability to turn that screw, tighten that thing down a couple screws, couple turns, and everything changes. And the other team feels it. When you're a really good defensive team, you can turn it on. You can just see those guys. You're playing. They all kind of get a little bit like, ooh. They get back on their heels. This team can put you on their heels with their defense.
And the other thing that Toronto has that the other teams don't have, they really have playoff championship experience.
Right.
I mean, they're veteran battle tested. When you look at their team, they've been through the wars.
Yep.
So I like what they've added, and I like what they're doing.
Well, the Raptors announced earlier today that point guard Kyle Lowry visited Dr. Patrick O'Leary at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York. He received pain-relieving and anti-inflammatory injections for the lower back soreness he's been suffering. Now, Lowry's condition continues to improve, but there's not a timetable yet set for his return. Game Time continues after the break. We're with you till tip-off between the Raptors and Jazz. But
Bad boy Mahorn!
Look at Big Ricky.
I thought you guys knew him. It's a 5-game Tuesday night in the NBA, and we'll be right back.